Welcome to the second episode of Pathways to Peace, the official podcast of Religions for Peace Asia, ACRP. I'm your host, Hiroyo Murayama. As we move closer to the 10th Governance Assembly in Singapore this November, we are connecting with leaders across Asia Pacific to discuss the future of our shared mission. Today, we travel to Australia to speak with a leader who bridges the gap between scientific expertise and spiritual advocacy. She's the co-chair of Religions for Peace Australia and dedicated voice for environmental ethics. Please welcome Philippa Rowland.
Thank you for having me, Hiroyo. I'm honored to be here. And it is an interesting question how an agricultural scientist ended up working in faith communities. But I think there is a common thread, which is caring for each other and caring for the good earth, which is really alive in most faiths. That it's a human gift and a human responsibility to have agency to either help or hinder, on earth. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here today. So, Philippa, your work often focuses on the intersection of faith and the environment. To start our conversation, how have you seen different faith communities come together to address the climate crisis?
Well, I think that, if you don't mind, I'll go back one step and just to connect my role as a scientist with my role as a faith leader, because I had a feeling that with that responsibility to care for each other and for the planet, I first came across the Multi-Faith Association of South Australia here because they had some dialogue on climate change in the Baha'i Centre of Learning here in Adelaide. And so I ended up joining Multi-Faith and becoming its president. And then because I was president, it meant that I was then the South Australian representative on Religions for Peace Australia. And this would have been in the years leading up to COVID. And during the COVID lockdowns, we continued our meetings on Zoom. And I was deeply moved by the national report, each meeting, on what faith communities were doing to support people through lockdown. So the Sikh community, the Ahmadiyya Muslims, the Hindu community, all were going out to support and take food to the needy, and Christian communities doing other things. And it's really when it began to make sense to me, not just in an ecological sense, but in a human person-to-person sense, that there was great value in this interfaith work.
I see. So it's new for you to join as a Religions for Peace. I think it's been like 5-6 years now.
I like the way you say recent. Yeah, it has. Yeah. I think it has been about 5 years. Yes. And I think in that context, there's also the sense that I participated through COVID. You had online sessions, and I was part of one of the commissions. And then when Professor Desmond Cahill was elected the moderator of the Asian Conference of Religions for Peace, I got rather rapidly elevated into being the Australian chair. And I think the work has escalated both regionally and in Australia. So I now have a very competent co-chair who runs the meetings for Australia, and that allows me to focus on the regional work and also the links that we both have with the Asia Pacific Women of Faith Network.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, so how does Religions for Peace Australia contribute to the broader ACRP missions of building culture of peace across the entire Asia Pacific region?
Well, I think that's a common responsibility shared across all countries, in that you hold peace between each other. And I do think I'd written something for later down the thing, but it's just that through the building of friendships over a long period and the sharings that occur under the umbrella of ACRP, it means that people get to know each other and build friendships. And I think they stand the test of time and they continue, even if the countries from which the representatives come are in the midst of having a standoff or an argument about trade or energy or whatever. And that's really where I feel like these long-term relationships between faith communities provide a great opportunity for stability and also for communication channels that may break down in other circumstances. So I do find it very valuable work. You do.
So, Philippa, your work often focuses on the intersection of faith and the environment. To start our conversation, how have you seen different faith communities come together to address the climate crisis in Australia?
Well, I think I'd probably answer that in two parts, because one is what I see in Australia, but the other is what I see regionally and
Okay,
globally.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. So within Australia, the recognition of the impact of climate change has been becoming more evident as we, like others, live through that increased intensity and frequency of extreme events. So where I live in South Australia, we've had quite a long drought. Trees have died. Farmers that are cropping have got a lack of water for crops. In South Australia, we've had a major marine algal bloom that has lasted 12 months, which has emptied the ocean of life for the first time in my life that I've seen that. And this is a warming ocean, which leads to rapid development of algal blooms. And some of these seem to be species that were not originally in Australia, but have toxic elements that kill things that ingest that algal bloom. So the work that has been done both by communities and by faith groups, I think is kind of focused on collaborative community action. And that ranges through from practical actions, caring for the earth, like planting trees to sequester carbon, but also this pressing need to cut greenhouse gases and looking at the rapid transition from fossil fuels to renewables. And that is quite an issue for Australia with the left and the right hand, because we've got great renewable resources. We're now up to 40% reliant on renewables. But at the same time, particularly in the current global situation with the world war in the Middle East, is that we also sit on coal and gas reserves, which we sell offshore, including Japan, which gets on-sold. So we have a footprint in terms of emissions that we export. So I think it's really an exciting time to talk to you, Hiroyo, because today itself is the day after this first conference in Santa Marta of transitioning away from fossil fuels. And I noticed when I looked at a report I saw today that there are at least, I think, 5 countries from ACRP who had delegates there. So Singapore, Philippines, Vietnam, Nepal, New Zealand, and Australia all had representatives. So we'll see what can come from that. And that really fits with that great honour and great terror I have of chairing Commission 1 coming up in Singapore, which will be dealing with transitions from fossil to renewable energy, and also looking at the resilience of ecosystems. I think Asian Conference of Regions for Peace has an important role there because of building, a culture of friendship and understanding. We're stronger together if we can share ideas and share solutions.
Thank you so much for sharing. You have talked about the Commission 1, which will be facilitating in November in Singapore. So I'd like to hear about the view for the 10th Governance Assembly with you now. So as the 10th Governors Assembly in Singapore is a landmark event for our organization, as you know. In your view, why this particular gathering is so critical for the future of Asia and Pacific?
Well, Hiroyo, I guess that fits with my sense that it's a time in history when our future really hangs in the balance. And my sense is that people of faith have got unique roles within their communities, and that the friendships that we've developed over time that have withstood the test of distance, across many miles, even many disagreements and even wars between countries, that there's a resilience of standing together to face things and to have dialogue across the water and the land that separates our countries about, what are some of the solutions to war, to climate change, to ecological decline.
Right.
And my sense is that these really intractable problems are best faced collectively with our courage for the common good. Faith communities have got unique roles at this time, calling out the best in humanity, not the worst.
Well, as you are already aware of, the theme for our upcoming assembly emphasizes the bold and innovative action. From an environmental standpoint, what kind of bold action do you hope to see in the assembly about this November?
Well, I guess I've said it before, but I do hope we can have some commitments to supporting renewable transition and ecosystem resilience. Because really, humans need to remember some humility that we exist really because of things like the common earthworm and bacteria in soil that turn dirt into food we eat. You know what I mean? Like, it is an interconnected earth. And I also think that this moment of coming together to celebrate the 50th anniversary, it's an opportunity for dialogue and wise decisions.
As we celebrate ACRP's 50th anniversary during this assembly, how can we ensure our governance structures remain rooted in the spirit of peace for the next 50 years?
I do think part of it is this regional dialogue and wise decisions on representative governance, across our region. And that one of the simplest ways forward for that is continuing to build, renew, and maintain strong friendships and open dialogue. I do think that's kind of the unique role of Asian Conference Religions for Peace, is that you do have this chance for dialogue right across the region about many things.
I really think the Asia Pacific has a unique, I learned that Asia Pacific has 60% of origin of religion, such as Buddhism, Hinduism, the other lot of different traditions, and that makes us very unique. And it is at the same time it's important.
There is one further thing that I think needs to be put on the record, and that is it's called the Asian Conference of Religions for Peace, but it is the only part of the World Parliament of Religions that includes the Pacific. So I think it's very timely to include the Pacific in our dialogue, particularly under this umbrella of talk about resilience and climate, because they have done the least. Their emissions are minute, and yet they are the first ones to lose their islands, the graves of their ancestors, their capacity to grow food because of incursions of salt. So I am very, very grateful to Frances Namumu from the Pacific Council of Churches that she will come and be part of Commission 1. And I hope that that dialogue can grow and strengthen.
So, Philippa, we have covered a lot of ground today. So if you describe the future of peace in Asia and Pacific in just one word or one phrase, one sentence, what would it be?
I thought about that,
Mm-hmm.
and I came up with interconnectedness.
Interconnectedness.
Recognizing I am because you are. And I think that's as true across countries as it is between species.
Interconnectedness. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
Yeah.
Thank you, Philippa. So for our listeners who want to contribute to peace, but feel they are small in the face of global environmental challenges, what is one innovative action they can take in their own community?
Well, I think we can all be one small part of caring for life on Mother Earth. So I think that if we thought that we would each just do share one small climate solution with your community. And then if I had another word, I could say it was treat all others as you would like to be treated yourself, with kindness and compassion.
Yeah, treat others as you wanted to be treated. Thank you. So,
Well, thank you, Hiroya. I
yeah.
hope that was all right.
Yeah. Would you like to give us, our listeners, one short piece of wisdom or prayer for peace, if you'd like to?
Well, I did find one in case you don't say that. That it's easy to say caring for all life on Mother Earth, but how do we do that? So I found a short prayer, which is on practicing compassion in everyday life. So maybe I'll read that, which is about humans. Yeah?
Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find new hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be free. May the weak find power, and may their hearts join in friendship.
Thank you so much. It is wonderful to close this podcast, second episode. Philippa, thank you so much for your leadership and for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you in Singapore.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. You've been listening to episode 2 of Pathways to Peace. For updates on the 10th Governance Assembly, please visit our website or SNS. I'm Hiroyo Murayama. Thank you for listening, and together we are walking the path to peace.